Hello and welcome to a showcase video for a game that I have made these past few days. The game is called Cards of Honor Eastern Front. So as you can see here, we have these 4 decks, and if you combine them together they actually form a simple deck of 54 cards. So we have 18 unit cards for Germans. And by the way, this is it's a World War II team game for 2 players, so player against another player, or it can be play solo, but I'm still working on the AI for the game. It's gonna be quite simple. So we have German deck of 18 unit cards and the Soviet deck of also 18 unit cards, and we have these order cards. I'm gonna also show how they work. So what's the objective? Well, how the game works. Well, before I actually start speaking about that, let me show you the components first. So let's start with the orders. This is the back of the deck, and this is how the deck looks inside. Each of these orders can be, you decide which one you're going to use by facing above the unit. So for instance, if I place a card like this, we are using a support. So if it's readable, like if it's standing like this, oh wait, let me move these generals. So if it's standing above the unit, I'm doing a support. There are lots of orders. I'm going to explain them how they work, but this is a general thing, how it works. You're gonna keep those cards in the hand and you're gonna decide which orders you want to execute. So those are 9 order cards. Then we have the units, and let's actually take the generals also. So we have a deck of 15 units and 3 generals. We have of the 3 generals, we have Franz Halder, we have Friedrich Paulus and Erich von Manstein. So these 3 generals, because the team is about the Eastern Front, they were active on the Eastern Front, and those are generals I decided to put in the game. Each general has some special ability that activates only when he is revealed, but I'm going to explain that later on. We also have these unit cards, all kind of them, and we're going to talk about the iconography and what they have after I show the components. So for the rations, same thing. We first have 3 generals. We have Georgy Zhukov, Mikhail Shumilov and Vasily Chuikov. So these are 3 Russian generals and also some Russian units, as you can see. I work really hard on these illustrations to finish the game as quick as possible, because I want to see how it actually works. As you know, I always make a game on the paper. The first playthrough is always in my head, and then I just make a game and see how it works all together, and then make little changes if necessary. And the same order cards come for another player. So all together, like if we combine this, it is one big deck of 54 cards. Okay, let me okay, I need to turn give me a second. I need to put the time backwards to for that I need the interface. Alright, here it is. Now let's remove the interface because it's easier to look at the cards in the game when we don't have the interface. Alright, so let's now speak how the game plays. So it is a player versus player game. Should last around, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes, not less, not more. You play 2 rounds with the possibility of the third one. You basically rounds are called battles. So you play 2 battles, units against units, and after each battle you take a score depending which units you destroyed and what was your goals for that battle. And then you go to the second battle, and then if from those two battles, like if you have same amount of points, then you go to the third one, so whoever wins the third one wins the game. But usually it should be over in 2 battles. So how the game works is like this: you're gonna take these order cards, you're gonna shuffle them and place them near you. So let's say I'm playing the Germans. Then you're gonna take these generals and you're gonna decide which of these 3 generals you want to use during the first battle, so during the first round of the whole unit fight. So let's say I decide to use Erich von Manstein, which his special ability says cancel ability of just revealed enemy generals. So I'm cancelling abilities of the other enemy generals. So let's say he's my first choice. I will do that in secrecy. The other 2 generals will be set aside, and I'm gonna place it face down above my deck where the unit's gonna be. So that's my general, and my opponent doesn't know which general I have choose. Then I'm gonna take this deck of cards, I'm gonna take it in my hand, and also in secrecy I'm gonna place them. I'm gonna make order like which unit is gonna be on top, on the middle. So let's say I wanna start with the sappers on top. Then after that some tank attack. Then after that maybe machine gunner, and maybe a sniper, squad leader, another machine gunner, and let's put some infantry here, and maybe a machine gunner, and let's say some tanks after that, some machine gunners, platoon leader. So I will order these cards in my hand, and then I'm gonna set them like this, like whatever I set on the top could be on the top. You just set the sequence how they're gonna show up from a deck. Now my opponent doesn't see what I'm doing, of course. You found these cards in your hand, and just set them from the first one to the bottom one. When I'm finished, and when my opponent finished, so let's say my opponent also choose a general. These are his other generals he's not gonna use, and then I'm gonna shuffle this, and I'm gonna shuffle also his deck. I'm gonna just shuffle this like this is another player. He already prepared his deck. So we are set to go. So what we do now, we flip our decks face up, so we can always see the first unit that's gonna fight. So these are like our brigades that's now gonna fight each other. And then from my order deck that was previously shuffled, I'm gonna draw 2 cards. So this will be in my hand. Also my opponent will not see these cards. The rest of them are set aside, so I can actually place them here. You will need a discard for your units. You will also have a special space for your scoring pile, because every unit you destroy is going to be your score. And you're also going to have a discard for your orders. And for the orders that I used, actually some orders can be removed out of the game permanently, which means till even in the next battle you will not have them. So you need to have some piles. I mean, you need to have some space on the table. So let's say these are my cards for the orders, and let's draw 2 random from our opponent. So what happened next, you're gonna inspect the cards, and then you're gonna choose which order you wanna use. Let's say I look at the, well, maybe it's a good time to explain these icon on the cards. So let's look at this supper guy here. So the first icon that you see up here with a little like a star, that's a points, but also could be a bonus points for victory you can achieve during a game. So let's now go to our general I have chosen. If you look at the general, and below the image of the general says morale victory, okay, which means that I really want to gather units that have for the morale, let me just check, that have 2 of these stars, okay, one below the other. There are some units that actually have these 2 stars. Actually, let me check in my deck. Okay, well, you'll see them because I'm gonna play a few rounds just to show. So morale victory, I wanna destroy enemy units that has 2 of these fill-in stars. Okay, as much as if I have more of those than my enemy, I'm gonna achieve the morale victory. So that's what I'm going for. The other thing is also plain points. So the little stars on the top right corners are the points and your objective. Then you have the name of the unit, and then you have 4 things that unit have. Let's call them stats. So this one here with the C is called maneuver. What kind of maneuver they gonna do? And this is like a paper scissor fist. I mean, how it's called, that simple game. What you need to know is that, let me write this down on the table. The maneuver A is always better than maneuver B. The B always beats C, and the C beats A. So this is important. So like paper, fist, scissors, you know that old game. So we have these type of maneuvers that this unit's gonna execute. Then we have a special ability that units can achieve, and these are all explained in the rule book, but I'm gonna explain them as we go, just for this simple showcase and a playthrough. So these units can do a collateral effect. You'll see how that works. Then we have a unit strength with this little fist here. It has a strength of 5, and the unit speed, it has a speed of 13. So this is important when strength is of course important when you're fighting other units. Speed is important when you revealing these order cards, because the unit with more speed will always be first to reveal the order cards, and that in some cases are quite interesting and important, because you can actually decide to do something with your order cards. You might not even want to reveal them. You'll see how that works. So maneuvers, A is better than B, B is better than C, and C is better than A. Try to remember that because I'm gonna delete it. Alright, so let's see what we have here. We have a sapper against the German sapper against the Russian rifleman. Rifleman here, this is only worth a half a point. So these empty stars are worth half a point. The rifleman also has this little icon which the sapper doesn't have, as you can see. This icon is called replacements, which means if this unit get hurt or destroyed, it can be actually replaced. You'll see how that works. Again, if you check, we are using the same maneuvers. He does have a different effect. Morale has only strength of 2 and a speed of 3. So right now I'm kind of winning here, because the unit with more strength will destroy the other unit. So I'm winning by, as you can see, by 3. 5 against 2. Alright, so how the fights are resolved here. The unit with more strength will destroy the unit with less strength. If you destroy the unit, you're gonna take it in your scoring pile. You're gonna set it aside, and that's gonna be your score. Simple as that. But there is more than that. As you can see right now, I can decide to use some orders. Now, decide means I will always play one order card, but doesn't mean I will actually have to show it, because you see we only have 9 order cards during the whole battle, and we have 15 units. So not all units will receive orders. They will just be like this. Simple strength against simple strength of other units. But with these order cards we can actually affect some outcomes of these fights. So let's say I want to use a flank order. I'm gonna place it like this. It's gonna go face down. Let me just, yeah, it's gonna go face down above the unit. And let's say my enemy, actually let's see what he has. Okay, so let's say he is gonna use this. In this case he doesn't have much options. Let's say he's all, actually let's make it like this, just for it to be interesting. let's say he has these two cards, and he can see that he's like losing by 3. So he might decide, oh, by the way, these cards should be placed like this. Sorry, I totally forgot that. The cards that are in battle are drawn from the deck and placed one besides the other. These cards are waiting, which is kind of important because you can always see what is the next battle after this one. So this also can affect how you're gonna do your orders and stuff. So let's see, this guy is looking right now and he's gonna do this. Alright, and we are ready to resolve. First we check the speed of the units in fight. So I have 13, so I would be first to flip this card. Now I can choose not to. If I choose not to, I'm gonna say to my opponent, I'm gonna skip the orders. In that case, this card will go on the bottom of the deck. Okay, it's not gonna go into this card or anything. It goes on the bottom of the orders deck. Only orders that I use goes to the discard. And this is important. If you like sure you're gonna win something, you don't have to use your orders. But in this case, I'm gonna say yes, I'm gonna reveal and I'm gonna flip. So what I'm doing the flank. Unit in fight has better maneuvers. This means that this maneuver could be anything I want. So basically I can turn it into the B, because B maneuver defeating the C maneuver. Alright, so I'm gonna use a flank. So I have better maneuvers. This acts like can be anything. So this is now B instead of C. Then my opponent can decide, you know what, I'm gonna do the same. He's gonna flip, and as you can see, he is adding a valor, which is unit in fight has a bonus to its attack. So he's basically adding +3 to his attack. So right now he has a 5 against my 5, but I have better maneuvers. So let's resolve this so you can know how it works. Normally if, like, let's say this unit here, we're gonna call it German and this will call Soviet. If your strength is higher than the Soviet is destroyed. And same thing when it's in the other direction, if Soviet strength. But if you have a same strength of the units, they will kill each other. Basically both of them will be destroyed. Okay, so now we know that. But after that we also check the maneuvers. So I turn my maneuvers. Who has the better maneuvers? I turn my maneuvers into B. So I'm beating this unit in the maneuvers, which means that I can execute my special ability, and that's the only time you can execute your special ability, if you beating the other unit with your maneuvers. So let's resolve it. This will go to my scoring pile, and this will go to opponent's scoring pile. This will go to discard. I'm gonna keep a discard here. This card is visible. What's this? Oh yeah, these are the generals. So this card is visible, and you can always look what the other player has already used. Let's make it the same as mine. And then we're gonna execute the special ability from my card. So collateral. What the collateral means? And you can only execute this if your maneuvers are better than the enemy maneuvers. If your maneuvers are same, then none can execute any effects. And you can decide to do this or not. You can execute this effect or not. So what the collateral means, it is that the card from the top of the enemy's deck, and by the way, these decks are called army decks. So the card from the top of the army deck is also attacked by this unit. Okay, so if we check here, now back, it's a 5 against 4, and that's the only thing you're looking for when you are resolving these when you're resolving these collateral attacks. So I'm actually gonna also destroy this unit. So I get another machine gunner. So that was my effect, while the enemy just got one of my sappers. And that was like one combat. And we have like, I have 14 cards and now this guy have only 13. He's already have problems, right? So after we resolve the combat, I can set this here like this. We're gonna draw back to 2. So I'm gonna get some new orders. He's gonna also get some new orders. And we're gonna draw our cards. And we're gonna have another fight. Now, anytime during your turn or during the combat, any player can decide when he's gonna flip his general. Of course, I'm not gonna flip mine because my general actually works by cancelling. So let's say this player now decide immediately. Well, actually, let's see what did I choose here. Return when just destroy Soviet unit to the bottom of the Soviet army deck. Okay, let's say he wants to do this to prevent me to get this machine gun. Okay, well, I would flip this, cancel his card, and I will still keep it. So let's say that actually happened. So joke's on you, Chuiko, you don't get that unit back. And that's it. The generals are like one trick pony. Usually some of them has like lasting effects, but usually they have only one effect and you really need to think when you're gonna use it. In this case, the Soviet guy wanted to get that unit back, didn't manage, and that's it. The generals just play their role. But what's more important, now my opponent knows what I'm looking for. I'm going for the morale victory, and I know what he's going for. He's also going for the morale victory. So we like these cards with 2 stars. Okay, so I want to destroy as many of these 2-star cards, while the opponents want to do the same. Anyway, we have another fight. We have a Panzer IV against the Rifleman. Now, what I didn't explain is this little icon called, and I need to go back a bit. Alright. So as you can see, this Rifleman has a little icon with the helmet on. It's called replacements. So these cards, when you beat them in the fight, they are actually not destroyed. Well, depends. Let me check just a second. So even if they lose a fight, and in this case they did, because we have the same amount of strength, so they should be destroyed normally. But if your maneuvers are better than the enemy maneuvers, instead of being destroyed, you tap the card like this, so it stays in the fight for the next round, so you can't take it right away. But if you remember, my maneuvers actually were better, so it will still be destroyed. So just a quick explanation how this works. So let's see on this example here. Our maneuvers are the same, so I will not be able to tap the card. It must be better. So I'm losing this card against the Panzer IV unless I do something to stop it. So if you look from the German perspective, I'm winning this 6-2. There is no way, right? But if you check here, I actually have a card that can help me. The flank will change my maneuvers into better maneuvers. So let's say I play this, and I'm gonna play this openly. Of course, this will be face down. So I'm playing my flank to change this into C, because we know the C is better than the A maneuvers. And you'll see how it's gonna work, because I can also do a charge effect if this goes through. Because every time your maneuvers are better than the enemy, you can use also a special ability. And here maybe this German player can decide, you know what, I'm kinda like this card here, but I'm not satisfied with this one, so I'm gonna place this face down over the unit. We need to flip. The German player says I'm not gonna flip, so this goes to the bottom of the deck. He's gonna get another card back, and I flip, and I have now flank. Now what will happen? Strength of the Panzer is better than the strength of my rifleman, of the Russian rifleman, so they normally should be destroyed, but my maneuvers are better than the panzer maneuvers, and because I have replacements, instead of being destroyed, I just get tapped like this and stay in this fight. Meanwhile, the panzer, if you win a fight but your maneuvers are not good enough, these cards go to the discard pile. I'm gonna place the discard pile here. So they are not destroyed, but they are used. They used in a fight. Maybe they spend all the ammo. They didn't manage to achieve their objectives. Anyway, since my maneuvers were better, I can also do a special ability called charge. And if we look at the charge, it says choose a card from my army deck, and I can put it on the top. So now looking at here, I'm kind of winning here, but just to be sure, maybe I'm gonna take this card into my hand, look through it, and maybe I'm gonna put this KV tank above, right? And now the battle looks a bit different, right? So my opponent now can see that the next card is actually has more speed. Well, our maneuvers are the same. Let's say for some reason I decided to put it like this. And that's it. This goes to this card, and I would draw back to 2, and my opponent would draw back to 2. And we will continue this fight. So let's do another round. So in this fight is this submachine gunner and my riflemen that are left alive from the previous fight. But if I get damaged again, I can't use my icon with the again because I'm already tapped. So this will either go be destroyed, or maybe if I win a fight but my maneuvers are not good, I'm gonna go to discard. Anyway, let's say this guy wanna do a flank, and let's say I wanna try to survive, and I put the valor because I don't know what my opponent is doing. So I'm adding 2 to my strength, which is 4. I'm thinking, well, if he's gonna destroy me, I might as well destroy him. And this guy is using a flank, so changing his A into C, yeah, just to beat my maneuvers. Alright, and then we would reveal, starting with the submachine gunner first, because his speed is 10. He would reveal first, the Soviet will reveal second. So as you can see, both units will get destroyed, but my maneuvers are better, so I can do this rally special ability before I remove the unit. So let's see what the rally does. It says take 3 cards from the top of my army deck and set them in any way I want to. So right now I may be thinking, you know what, I need to do some regrouping here. So my sniper against the heavy tank, I need some kind of a better thing. So I might actually take these 3 cards and says, you know what, I'm gonna put the sniper here, squad leader here, and machine gunner here. So this is the rally special ability. And then we resolve. I got one of these cards in my deck. He killed one of my Germans, and these go into the discard. And you can see I only have 6 more and he has 5 more. Then we draw back to 2, and we are ready to continue the fight. And this will continue until either one player doesn't have, like, if we use all our army cards. So for instance, if I lose all my army, what will happen in the end, basically, you will probably have some cards in your discard pile which are still alive. You will have some enemy cards in your scoring pile which gonna be your score, and most of your other cards, unless you keep them till the end, you know, because you can always choose not to play your orders, just refresh them basically by placing them on the bottom. So let's say we play this game and we have something like this. Let's say he managed to destroy many of mine and I managed to destroy some of his. Let's say like this. maybe one more just to show something. Yeah. Alright. So let's say this is our scores at the end of the game. So let's count the scores. First we're gonna count the raw points. So if you go here, let's actually go like this. So we have 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9.5, 10. So right now I would have 10 points. Let's say I'm a German. And the Russian guy would have 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9.5. Okay. Let me check. Yeah. So for the point stand, I'm kind of beating him. But now let's check our objective. So for the morale victory, which I was going for, I needed to have more of these cards with 2 points than my opponent. But I have 3 of them. And you can actually see that my opponent also had 3 of them. So in this case, we have a tie. And if you have a tie, you don't get any bonus. But let's say my opponent didn't manage to kill this match. Now let's say I actually have more than him. He has 3 of those. He was also going for the morale victory, and I have it too. Well, for the morale victory, if you manage to do the objective from your general card, you get a bonus point. So in this case, let me just check. For the morale victory, it is plus 5 points. So my ending score would be 15 against his 9.5. Okay, so that would be our score for the first battle. And then you would take all the units that survived, okay, plus half of the units that died from a scoring pile. So your opponent would give you these cards back. Let's see how much we have here. Oops. Okay. So let's say these are all the units that are die, and let's say I have some that are still alive. Maybe I have 4 alive units. And these are all were dead. Let's say I had 5 alive units and 10 that were died. So half of this would go into this deck, but random half. You would shuffle, and I would take 5. Now if I have something like 9 instead of 10, then you get half, but rounded to the lowest number. So instead of from this 9, I would get only 4. So I would again shuffle, get 4 back. Then I would take this deck into my hand. I would arrange it again in any way I want to do it. I would get any orders that are still in play, like, because as I said, some orders can actually be removed from a game. I would take all the order cards and we will go again. But right now I would, for my second battle, I wouldn't have as much of unit as for my first battle. Now this rule is still experimental rule. Okay, I need to test this because I'm kind of afraid that it could happen that if you take too much damage, you know, in the first battle, you can't recover from the second. So I'm actually thinking that the best thing would be just to take all the cards and do the second battle with all the cards again, and just the orders would all come back due to some effects. So we will see how that works. Just keep in mind, as I said, this game is still raw. I need to test lots of stuff. I need to play this through with some people, and I also need to work on the AI. Now I already have an idea how the AI is going to work. How the AI is going to work is like this. So at the beginning of the game, you're gonna draw, let's say this is the deck of the AI with all his units. Doesn't really matter. You're gonna shuffle that deck. AI doesn't use generals, so let's remove them because AI is the general. So how this works is you're gonna shuffle enemy AI deck, you're gonna draw 1 card, and this letter here is gonna tell you which kind of AI is gonna use, because there are 3 types, A, B, and C. They all called general bots on, but they have different things they're gonna do during a fight. So depending on this, there will be at the end of the rule book like a little chart that looks like this. So let's say +1 to strength, +2 to strength, +3 to strength, these icons, you know, and with a little arrow pointing what will bot do if you play the card with a +1. So he might have like a sequence like +2, then maybe change the icon, then I don't know, regroup, then +3. Anyway, he would have a sequence, and this sequence is important because how the AI will work when you play your flanking card down, you can actually play it face up, because AI doesn't work like that. You might say I'm gonna reinforce, and AI is gonna working like this. You're gonna draw 2 cards and you're gonna flip them, and then you're gonna check which of these you can actually do with these cards. So let's say, do I have a +2 here? I don't know, let's say for the sake of argument, this icon here is not a +1, it is like this little helmet. So I'm looking, do I have a +2? No, I don't. Do I have a flank? Yes, I have. So he's gonna actually use a flank. So that's how I'm gonna be a result. There will be like program sequence in which you use a card, and what's important is AI can never lose his order cards. They will go to this card, okay, and once he needs more cards, he's just gonna shuffle his deck back and play them again. So you will be able to remove a card from his deck like normally, but he will, like in my case, I only have like 9 orders I can use. AI will always be able to reshuffle, so he will always use orders for all his units that are in battle. And I know it's a lot of information for now, especially with this resolution, but trust me, it is not that hard once you know what you're looking for. It's basically check the strength, check the maneuvers, who won the maneuvers, can I do the effect, and that's it. And just for the end, I'm gonna explain every effect. Okay, let's find all the effects. Okay, charge, I think that's all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, no, there are more. Okay, morale, retreat, I think these are all the effects. Retreat, rally, collateral, shock, regroup, morale, and charge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, 6, 7. Yeah, those are all the effects. So let's go from left to right. So what the retreat do? Retreat says the card that has won a battle goes to the bottom of your deck. So basically, or in the discard. So you can do this effect for yourself or from the enemy. So you can take his card that just won the battle and place it in the discard, even if for some reason it stays in play, because some battles can be resolved that you win and your unit stays in play. So you can choose either to place in discard so he can't use it anymore, or you can actually use one of your units and retreat it on the bottom of the deck in case you're not so sure you're gonna win the next battle. Then we have rally, and rally is like I already done in the example. You take top 3 cards from your deck in secrecy. I mean, you take all your deck in secrecy, check your top 3 and just, you know, shuffle them as you want, like which one you want to put on top. Gives you some options when you, especially during the end game where you need to maybe win some battles quickly. Collateral, you saw, I don't know, did I show the collateral? Anyway, collateral is basically you're attacking the cards that is already on top of the deck, that is not in the fight. So you're attacking the card in the fight and the other one just behind it that's going to be played next fight. If it's possible, you can actually destroy this way 2 units or maybe make them to enter next play tap down, like these ones. So if you hit this one, you will not immediately destroy it, but you at least it's going to be hurt, so it's going to be easier to destroy it next time. The shock, it says the shock affects actually your deck with the orders. So you would remove one of your enemies' orders from their deck into discard. So you can like lower the number of the orders they can do. Really good. Then we have a regroup, where the card from a discard pile goes either on top or on the bottom of your deck. So this will regroup you will probably use mostly on yourself, unless sometimes you actually have to do these effects if you're going for your victory. So if you are sure you're gonna win a battle, you can actually do this even from your enemy. Then we have a morale. Morale is gonna get you one order card from a discard back into your deck. It's gonna be shuffled, but at least you're gonna get it back. You can choose which one, which is really good. The only problem is gonna be shuffled back into the deck, so you don't know when you're gonna draw it. But if you really have some good one, well, this is how you can get it back. And lastly, charge. Charge is you choose a card from your deck, so you can take a deck, choose which one, and then you place it on top of your deck. So really good if you wanna, to think ahead to attack someone to win the next battle and so on. Anyway, I think the video is quite long. I apologize, but I'm hoping I'm gonna find someone to record a full player versus player playthrough, and then everything will be more easy to understand. In any case, thanks for watching, and expect when I finish the AI, expect the solo playthrough, and then I'm hoping I'm gonna find someone to play this game and who's willing to record it with me, so we can actually play. So see you next time. This was Cards of Honor Eastern Front, and by the way, the game is quite modular, because your army is just 18 cards, 15 units and 3 generals, and if I keep this I can make like Pacific with Americans and Japanese, and then I can put Italians, I don't know, maybe British, I can put all kind of units, because what I'm actually affecting, and this is kind of, each army is a bit different, because there are different strengths, different points, different number of these effects they can do. So basically we have asymmetric fights here, which I need to test how they work. I need to play a lot to see, like, are the Germans right now OP, or the Soviets? We don't know yet. So this is something that needs to be play tested and tested until we see. But together with these orders, you can apply and change the units, and together with their stats, and you basically have like little decks that you can expand this game and then play, maybe even competitively. I don't know. In any case, as I said, thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye.